Okay, today I'm gonna talk about Node.js, and yeah, this is my new tutorial. First, we need to take a look at what is Node.js. So we can just simply open this official page. It says Node.js is a JavaScript runtime built on Chrome V8 JavaScript engine. So first, what is runtime? Runtime is an environment to parse and execute source code. Right? So it means that so this Chrome V8 JavaScript engine is also a runtime, right? But it is running on the browser. So Node.js give you the ability to run JavaScript code on the PC, on your computer, instead of a browser, right? So this is a runtime just to parse and execute. So what is the difference between a browser runtime and Node.js runtime? So browser runtime contains ECMAScript syntax, which you can use it to interact with BOM and DOM, right? However, Node.js runtime is also using ECMAScript syntax, and at the same time, I give you many server level APIs so that you can create maniplate server, right? So that you can just create a services yourself. This is the difference between, right, a browser runtime or Node.js runtime, which is also the PC runtime, right? So, what Node.js can do? Basically, we can use it to create web server, and we can also use it to create command line tools, right? So we have used a lot of command line tools based on the the ECMAScript, Node.js. I mean, like npm, create, React app, stuff like that, right? So this is the one we used from last tutorial, right? Which is a React tutorial. This is a scaffold of a React framework or front end library. So yeah, there are lots of others, right? So you can build some console games, or any other things. You can also use Node.js, right? So install Node.js. So basically, it's pretty simple. If you are using Linux, you just sudo apt install Node.js, or and at the same time you can do apt install npm, right? So Node.js is runtime environment, and npm is a package manager which manages most of the open source library or frameworks or package all in the community, right? So like create React app. This is a you can just use npm to download to install this package so that you can use it conveniently. So how, because we have already done this from last tutorial, if you're not really familiar with this, you can check my React tutorial. So if you are using Windows, you can just simply come to the official page and download this executable package, then click next, right? So if you have downloaded this and installed this successfully, then you can do node version and npm version. Then it means that you have already installed this successfully, right? So, and next we're gonna do a hello world. We want to do a simple hello world using Node.js, because we have already I've said that Node.js can parse and execute JavaScript code, right? So we can do hello world.js, and instead of this file, I can do a tab screen hello world. Right, so as you can see, it's very simple. We just named a variable and initialize this variable, and I want to print it in the console. So let's run this file, this JavaScript file. It says hello world, right? So this was the only thing that we can run in the browser. Now we can run it on our PC, right, in the console. So this is the functionality that Node.js brought to us, right? So of course we can do simple execute hello world, read hello world, write hello world. So what does that mean, read and write? So read file.js. We also have a write file.js. So in the read file, right here, we create a new folder called data. We create a file which is called data, not data, hello world.txt. And inside of this file, we have a fico is reading this file hello world. All right. So because this is a PC based or console based because Node.js is what we use to interact with PC, right? But we can use it in our PC or in the console. So of course we need to just like Java, PHP, or any other server-side programming language, right? So reading or writing file is a basic function. So what you want to do, you want to read a file. So just similar to the front end JavaScript, if we want to do something, we need to use some library to help us. So const file system require file system const result, go to file, read file. This is the path of the file, target file. So hello world.js. So right here, if you are reading this file, then you can just get two parameters, the error and the data. Just don't mess up the parameter order. Yeah, that's the only thing you need to worry about. So data, right? Now I wanna execute this file undefined. So first, it means that this function won't return anything, right? So this is not essential. Data hello world. Oh yeah, .txt. Yeah, just again, this is undefined, right? So it means that the read file function didn't return anything, and at the second line of output, as you can see here, so why this is the output of the read file, why it is output later than the function result, because when you read and write file or you send a request to server, they are all asynchronous function in JavaScript, right? So this is the actual output, because this is the output is asynchronous function. So it would just be executed after or synchronous function done. So why it is buffer? Okay, so we just delete this. Why it is buffer? Because you didn't specify what you want to how to say, what kind of encode or decode format, right? So actually you can just specify some decoding format, for example EDF, right? So let's try it again. As you can see here, so it has already been translated into string, right? So we can also do it like this, right? Using JavaScript's method. So this make more this looks more convenient, right? But it depends on you which kind of which way you wanna to decode the output. So let's run this again. As you can see here, so Faco is reading this file hello world, right? Why it is designed as the output was designed to be a buffer? Just simple because when you read or write a file, you can read any type of file, image, music, MP3, right? Music player, or image, or JSON, right? Any file, but this JavaScript API, it doesn't know what kind of file you're reading, right? So it will just give you a buffer so that you can manipulate the data later. This is more a common way to deal with the reading file, so that you can just read all kinds of file, whatever you want. Yeah, this is a read file. I'm gonna show you. By the way, when we feel reading a file, so let's do hello world dd.txt, right? So actually, this file doesn't exist at all. So, right, so give you an error. We can print the error. So if error log error. Yeah, this is the error message, right? So no such file or directory. So yeah, then if you get an error, just you can just use error parameter to display it, right? So how do we read file? Actually, same thing here. So this time I'm gonna read something into Fico. And the second the second parameter you can pass is right here is Fico is hello world. Make nonsense, right? But it doesn't make sense, right? So, but anyway, we just want to write something into this file, right? So done. Written. Right? It says written. So let's take a look at this. Yeah, we got a new file. It's called fico.txt, right? So fico is hello world. So we have already read this into this file directly. Again, if we change this data to data d, and then let's take a look. So this time we need to add so you can see here, so no such file, right? So because the data d, this folder doesn't exist, right? But still it execute written. So you need to do a simple condition statement, right? So if else statement. Yeah, this is the right file. We just the second parameter is the actual content you do want to write, and you want to write to the target file, and this is the like the target file, right? So to make them more compatible, right? So eventually we wanna we wanna use this Node.js to create a server, right? Create a service to interact with front end, right? Just like the React we have learned from last tutorial, right? So create a server. Create a server. Yeah. So basic server create server, right? Okay, so now I have a server.js. So how do we use it? Again, we need to import a library to help us to, right? So last one was a file system, and this one is the HTTP, right? So it is pretty straightforward, right? So if you are using some directory path library, so the library gonna be path or something, or operating system library. So there are a lot of core library, so which you can use it. So this one, in this case, we're gonna use this HTTP library. So now we have already imported this. So we need a server object, which we can create it from HTTP. So create a server. Now we have a server. When we have a server, we can do server L request, and then there is a callback function which will accept two parameters, which is request and respond. All right. So in this case, I'm gonna just use this shorthand. You just need to know this is a request and respond, right? So each time there is a request set to this server, we just displayed a new request. Okay. So after that, we need to listen to just open this server as a new service. So if you are start a new service, you need to specify which port you're gonna use this to serve this server, open this service. Also, we can accept a function. So it says server is running. Server is running on the port 3000. Let's run this file. It says server is running on the port. Then let's try localhost 3000. New request, right? So yeah, now we have already start the server successfully. But this server seems quite stupid, right? Whatever, each time we send a request, they will just return out a new request, which we know that we send a request, right? So we create a server, request object. So now we have a server. We can accept a request. We can know what kind of a request this is by using this request object. So we can do cancel request. As you can see here, the whole request object has been returned, right? So there are a lot of properties: timeout, HTTP allowed half open, keep alive, stuff like that. But there are several useful properties of requests. They are all useful, but several of them are more useful, like URL, headers, method, right? So let's try request. So you can see here, so URL is this slash, and header is this one, and object, and the last one on the bottom is the method, right? So this is the header, host, connection, accept cookie, everything, right? So we have a request, then response, send response. Of course, we can get a request, but get a request is not enough. We need to send response to users, right? So to whoever sent a request. So so how do we send request? Respond to users, right? So we can do response dot ret hello, this is response. And when you're done sending response, you have response.end method. Hello, this is response and end. But the server is still listening, right? So I'll send a request again. It will just return this again, right? So whatever whatever you see, they will respond to this, right? But normally we don't do it this way. This is pretty stupid. We can just send all things right here. So hello, this is a response. Okay, again, as you can see here, right? So we just send response at once in response.end API or method. So now we have created a server, know the request and object and send response. So set response to users based on request. Right. So let's call it a multiple response .js. Right. Again, I'm just gonna copy this to save some time. Now we know that we can get the request URL, and suppose now I want to get a user information, user or about or index or home page, anything, right? We send request to the server, right? So now we can get the URL from request. Then we can do if URL is equal to index /index. Then we can do index page, right? This is more like a pseudocode, but this is actual code, but we just simulate then how server responds to users, right? So else if URL equal to home. We just give it a home, right? Else in default we just give it a for not found, right? Because you don't have this page, right? Eventually we just give you a not found error. Right? So let's do node for. Let's do this. Not for node 5. Not found because we haven't specified the root URL, right? So we didn't configure the root. So let's do home. As you can see here, so home page. Let's do index. So index page has been responded. So let's do A and B and C for not found, right? So now our server can respond to users based on what they request, right? So now the server is more smarter than before. Actually, we don't send this, except we send response HTML file or HTML page as a response. We also want to send some data back, just like what we have done from the APIs, right? You know, we also have demonstrated how use API, the return value from API or open public API or remote server API to demonstrate, to display on the page using React. So from the last tutorial. So now I just name products persons, right? So array, and inside this array have several objects. You can name, vehicle, age 29, and name, Jack, age 99, right? So now we have an array, right? So let's do if else products, persons. We just response this response dot end persons, right? Then we can just respond this data back to user, right? So home page. All right. Okay, so let's try. Not found. Let's try home. Home page has been responded, right? So let's try persons. Error. So why it said error? So the trunk argument must be type of a string or an instance of a buffer. It means that the return value only string or buffer can be responded. Right? So, but in this case, we just respond a person object or persons array, right? So this is not correct, right? So there are two ways, right? We either respond a string or an array. So how do we convert this into a string? We can do JSON the stringify, right? Let's do root not found. So home page, persons, stringify. Sorry. So you can see here, so this is you know, like the API we have used before, right? From the React tutorial, it's pretty much similar. It's pretty much like this, RE, and inside this there are several JSON objects, right? But all of those has been converted into a string. Now when we want to use it, we can just parse it to an object or something, right? So it is super straightforward. So yeah, this is you know, like the basic server. We create a basic server using Node.js, and yeah, this is pretty much about the basic server today.